So a massive welcome to Women Who Crypto Volume 7. Super thrilled to be welcoming lots of people listening live and lots of people on Listen Again. The title for this session is Why Any Woman Can Crypto. Super thrilled to welcome 4 amazing speakers. And I just want to do a quick intro by sharing just a couple of slides. So I hope that is okay. So hopefully this works. We're a tech business, so I'm always nervous that it doesn't. As if by magic. Can I have a thumbs up from my speakers if that looks right? Vicky, yep. Lucy, right. Yeah, perfect. Good. So a huge welcome. A quick disclaimer, I get shot by our compliance team if I don't share this. So the information I'll be providing this evening is not investment advice, financial advice, or trading advice, or indeed any other sort of advice. You should carefully consider whether trading or holding crypto is suitable for you relative to your financial position, because of course the price of crypto can go up as well as down, and past performance is not a guide to future performance. Investors may not get back the full amount originally invested. The information we'll discuss we believe to be accurate. We've taken reasonable care to ensure it is accurate and reliable. However, we make no representation, guarantee or warranty that it's wholly accurate and complete. So please do conduct your own due diligence and consult your financial advisor before making any investment decision. That's actually tattooed on one of my limbs, actually, which is interesting. So a quick introduction to myself. So my name is Catherine Willer. I'll be hosting this evening. It's super late in the UK. It's 8 p.m. So I've had a long day. So I'm relying on my amazing speakers to provide us with some fantastic content, which I know they will. So my current role is that I am managing director for DAXI in the UK and Europe. So DAXI is a crypto exchange. We're one of the places that you can purchase crypto, but we particularly specialize in lots of educational content.
Right. Sorry.
Oh, let me just mute off whoever's got more interesting background noise than I have. So we're probably the leader in helping people get into crypto that are new to it. We specialize in loads of free education, whether it's webinars, ebooks, or social media. So we're one of the places you can buy, store, learn, and build your crypto wealth. So a quick introduction to myself. In addition to working for DAXI, which I can assure you is more than a full-time job, I'm a specialist in fintech and particularly in platforms. I've spent the majority of my career working for disruptive businesses in the wealth space. I spent a lot of my time writing for the press, particularly about crypto. And actually one of my real passions is financial freedom for women. I'll be found on podcasts, fireside chats, and also even recently on TV, which has been very exciting. I'm the lead for Women Who Crypto, which we believe is the largest online meetup for women interested in the crypto space. And I've also co-authored a book on Amazon. So if you are on LinkedIn, please feel free to reach out to me. I do write a lot for the press, so I'm often asked what I think about crypto, where it's going, what's happening, and it's a really exciting space. So if you're interested in crypto, now is an amazing time to get involved. So I commend you for your timing. And I think lots of people right now are really intrigued about crypto as an industry, what's going on, what's happening. And I think we have a real sense that it's an amazing opportunity for women to get involved. As a business, we are phenomenally female proactive. Most fintech businesses are like 1% female. We're about 50% female across our headcount globally. We've got 6 offices in 6 countries. And also we're very proud of some of the senior women in the business. So our global head of admin, we've got a financial director in the UK, a head of ops in the UK, our global head of brand who'll be speaking this evening, and our global head of comms. So we have some really senior women that I'm very proud to work alongside. So we really try and spread the message of crypto in a female-friendly way. We feel that crypto has been really masculine and really jargony and just made to sound really difficult, which it really isn't. So I just wanted to share one slide with you. There really isn't any financial data or complicated information. I hate it when you get on a webinar and it's just death by PowerPoint and it's presented by someone that has a PhD in economics. So these are the figures for a year in crypto, which are phenomenal. So if you look at crypto for last year, Ethereum went up 450%, Bitcoin went up 270%, our community coin went up just shy of 30%, and Litecoin went up 191%, whilst the FTSE went down by 15%. So if you are not considering crypto as a way to build your wealth, now is the time to get educated. So I'll just stop sharing my slides for a second. So I wanted to really take the opportunity to interview a couple of my ladies. They are all women who are different backgrounds, different ages, different career backgrounds, different marital statuses. And I just really wanted to hear from them just how they've got on in crypto. It's really just individual stories. They share their time. We don't pay them. They're not professional speakers. They're not involved in crypto full time, but they've just got some really valuable stories in how they've got on. So Lucy, my love, could you unmute yourself? It'd be fabulous to start with you, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to interview each of my lovely ladies in turn. They've all got slightly different stories. Lucy drew the short straw of getting in first. So look, just to start with, could you just tell me about yourself and your background? That would be great. Oh, and I forgot to say at the beginning, make sure you've got a drink to hand. So everyone.
Yeah, well, I wanted to say right from the off, I already lied on my video because I'm looking forward to joining the women with wine, but I've got G&T, but it'll do, won't it?
Okay, no problem. So chin chin for anyone that's watching, apart from Vicky, because it's breakfast
Cheers
time.
to everybody, and thank you, Catherine, for having me along.
So tell me a bit about yourself, my love. Tell me about your background.
So I am a life coach, mentor, thought leader a lot, just have a lot to say for myself and have a social media, I guess, following, if you like, for the want of a better word, and have been in business for myself for probably about 15 years. Got 3 children, single now, with an 11-year-old, a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old. So yeah, life's busy and full and fun and crazy, and but I'm rebuilding my life after divorce. So I kind of feel like I already had an old paradigm way of building business and building my wealth, and with my now ex-husband, we had 3 businesses together, and kind of were set up for life. Really, we had a pretty high income, and that's all it all came crashing down with the divorce. I found myself back at my mum and dad's with three kids, 3 suitcases, and not a lot to my name. And sure. I just thought, well, being the life coach, I guess that, in some way, whilst that's hard to fall from grace when you have a job like that, at the same time, I was true to what I believe is that the inner, we can rebuild the outer game at any point if you stay, hold steady through the turbulent times, and then remember who you are. Remember that we're amazing, capable, and every woman here is it's a bit cheesy, but is already enough, and just needs to believe that, really, and then keep taking the external steps to create whatever they want. But the reality was I was broke and broken, and none of it was the future I had planned for myself. So part of without getting into the next bit, if you like, I'll leave you to ask the questions. I guess part of the rebuilding has included, finding different ways to recreate wealth and to get myself back on my feet. And then, as I said, as the leader, I can't then help but share that with other people, So I love the 2-pronged approach that Daxy's given me, where I've been able to, shore up my own ship, and then also, as I said, share it with other people. And I really did know deep down, like there's still a kind of reality that I was navigating a lot of difficulty times, but as I said, because of the background I come from, I did know that this wasn't kind of the falling apart. It was the falling together eventually. It's just the event, we're going to hang on in there for a while until it sort of turns the tide, if you like.
Yeah, sure. And look, I think that we have loads of women that are very happily married. We have loads of women that are single. We have loads of women that are going through divorce. But I think the thing they all share, and we are a community, we chinwag all the time, whether it's on social media or on meetups like this, is that they're after financial independence and financial freedom. The reason why they're after it might vary, and I respect there's 100 different models for that. But certainly your story of got divorced, life threw me a curveball. And without prying too much into your personal life, that sounds fairly recently. That doesn't sound like that's 10 years ago. That's fairly
well,
recently.
It's longer than you think, because I think it was such a big shift that it's taken time. So what we took 5 years when we first separated. We've probably been divorced for 3. So it just
that's exactly the same as me. Yeah, right. That is literally exactly the same as me. And look, I've done the single parenting, and that is some tough yards. And I know just as we came on, I don't know which one of your kids it was, but I know your daughter was hanging around. And look, I think as women, we tend to take the reins to say, this is your early financial education is probably from your mum, not your dad, in my experience, because, as women, we want to, if you're mothers, there's plenty of women that aren't, but if you are a mother, you're kind of trying to impart on them an attitude to wealth and career, and how hard you need to work, and diversifying and all those other good things. So tell me how you got to crypto. I know you were talking about sort of having to rebuild yourself from life throwing you that curveball, but how did you get yourself into the crypto world?
Yeah, so it's been relatively recent, really. In fact, I didn't realize how recent. I looked at the first crypto I bought, and it was 23rd of September 2020. So it's actually halfway through, that year. And I think at this point I'm just wide open to like opportunity. I'm just wide, like everything, all bets are off, And but specifically, I got a video message off a loose colleague contact, really not even someone I know that well. And it was a bit random, I'll be honest. And part of me thought, I don't even know, sometimes even, we don't always even take the time to listen to, random messages, but I did listen. And the lady, she's an amazing lady, that introduced me, and I guess took a risk really to reach out to me. And then I did feel, I'll listen, I'll give this the time of day. And I'm so glad I did. Because by the end of the video, it was just so warm and so welcoming, and just an invitation. I felt the energy of, this is just something that's working for me, and I'm going to share the invitation with you. And it was an invitation to invest in Daxi. And I just thought, it was intuition really, there was a lot I didn't know at that point. I wanted to go back with a million questions, but in some ways didn't really have the time or the energy. It's halfway through, lockdown of homeschooling 3 kids. And so in the end, I just went, my intuition, doesn't rarely lets me down. And I just went, what have I got to lose really? I'll give this a punt. There was a bit of a bonus, there's a bit of an incentive at the time. So that was good to push, I guess it pushes people over the edge to say, okay, well, that's something I'll do. I'll just do it now. I'll say yes. And we're almost worry about it later, like I think for me, I'm quite good at going for things, and then I just do this quick check of going, what's my worst case scenario, and am I okay with that? Because if I'm okay with that, really, that takes all the fear out of it for me. It was a relatively small investment at the beginning, but it was, again, like any time I've said yes to myself, it's never really been about the amount of money. It's always been about, I'm going to take this risk. I'm going to trust this other person as well. I think there's something in that relationship that feels, it just feels like a good, and I'm a bit of a yes person as well. I do think, we've got to say yes. I think both women need to say yes more often and no more often.
Yes, I know what you mean. And I think it's interesting because the FCA says the vast majority of crypto is purchased because someone recommends it. And I think women were the natural networkers. And I think it's really odd, isn't it? Because, I mean, I'm a parent like you are, but even just, socially, or, down the pub, or, at work, or with your female friends, you will say, I need a good hairdresser, or, oh, I need a good, decent builder, or, I really want to go and buy some nice dresses and I'm heavily pregnant. What do you recommend? And actually, we often don't do that about finance because we're kind of a little bit more closed. Do you know what I mean? You never want to say, oh, this is how much is my bank account. What do you reckon? That's not cool. But I think with crypto, it's such an interesting topic. And we make a little bit of a joke between those people I talk to a lot, that it's quite easy to sort of, what's the word? It's a very addictive subject, I think. So once you get into crypto, you spend an awful lot of time talking about it. The other day, I found myself talking to someone in a supermarket queue, which is really bad. It was a Saturday. It was a really long queue for the self-service. I was just full of really doddery old people that were being really slow. And I said to the guy in front of me, oh, no, I'll be really quick. I'm really good. I'm wasted in my day job. So is it less lucrative than working at Tesco's? I said, yeah, unfortunately, so I work in fintech. And so did he. So we got yakking. So I ended up having a long conversation about crypto in the queue at Morrison's. So avoid me. If you see me in Morrison's, you want to ignore me, because I'll talk to you about crypto. So I think, when something's good, we obviously do pay some referral bonus to people that recommend us, which has worked really well. But I think particularly for the women that we work with, who are predominantly, I think, so there would be a good half of the people that we work with from a distribution point of view Don't tell the boys, but I think the women are probably more prolific, and I can see a few of those listening in, so I'm sure they know what I'm talking about. So just tell me about when you started that crypto journey. What were you trying to achieve? Was it just, did you come from an education point of view? What kind of information were you seeking out? Because I know you sort of were talking about you had to make yourself comfortable. What kind of questions were you asking?
Yeah, I think it was well, there was an element of I think I'd missed out on the, you know, the sort of Bitcoin thing. And
Sure.
I think I was like, oh, I'm not gonna miss out this time. This, you know, this is exciting for me to be involved in a coin almost at the beginning of its journey with and what I believe an even more you know, long-term sound investable business case. But that came later. I think it was like intuition, say yes, give it a punt. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm so lucky because I've landed in a community that is now giving me the education. And I actually can't believe how little I knew when I first said yes. But I'm grateful that for wherever you are on the scale, wherever you are between someone who likes to do their due diligence thoroughly versus an intuitive investor and everything in between, I like the fact that, you know, I now know that there are legitimate businesses like Daxi, and I found a few others where I could, you know, I can really educate myself. And I learned so, and very fast. It felt like probably the fastest learning curve I've been on since like almost university. You know, when you first learn about, like I did a business degree, so I learned about economics and stuff back then. And then I was like, oh my God, like I've forgotten, like this is like a muscle I haven't used in such a long time. And everybody, any woman, I believe, can learn that in some ways, because it's because it's new and almost slightly complicated, but not as much as you think once you get involved. Then I think in some ways it levels the whole playing field. So I was just asking myself, yeah, I now all of a sudden I've caught the bug. How can I find more? How can I learn more? How can I keep asking questions?
You don't have to know loads to start with. You can start from a relatively sort of
Yeah,
low.
yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Look, I know the set. I want to talk to you all for hours and hours, which we'll probably still be here drinking wine at 3 a.m. So, what advice would you give someone who is just getting? There you go, get some gin down, good girl.
Yeah.
Thirsty work, isn't it? So, what advice would you give someone who is really early and just kind of idly considering it and just kind of probably having a bit of a dabble with some of the information? What advice would you give someone that is super early and not particularly genned up right now?
Yeah, well, surround yourself with people. That's the fastest way to learn, I think. Community and connection with people you can trust, with an exchange or a company that you can trust. And then, you know, for me, it still worked for me. So I would say, like, give it a go, find a small amount of money that, you know, maybe, you know, it's not gambling. So I don't want to advocate that, because I don't believe that at all. There's so much more legitimacy behind that to even suggest that. But at the same time, if you're not sure, you can just go, okay, what can I afford? Well, I've got to put my toe in the water. It's a bit like dating. I'm not dating right now. I've got a feeling I need to dip. You know, I consciously single for a while and now avoiding. There's a fine line between those two things, but I think it's the same thing. Like, I can't be a sideline investor. I have to actually dip my toe in. So whatever you've got to dip your toe in, you know, take a punt, give it a go. But then also, as I said, you know, credible company. And I know it's not always easy to know whether you have that, but if you're getting that recommendation from a friend or from webinars like this, then you can trust in that and go, these people aren't stupid. Like, look around you. Like, even just, I don't know the panelists, but I immediately know, because A, they've chosen Daxi, B, they're part of this community, C, just look at them, amazing women doing their thing in our own way. If you've got that, if people are already doing that, I trust in that. I go, you know what, this has got to be, there's something in this, and I'm going to follow that. Because if I don't, I think it's a friend of mine that says, if you don't risk anything, you risk everything.
Sure. And I think also it's a real misconception. Oh, you know, you need 25 grand to go and buy one Bitcoin, which is just not true. So actually we're a platform that starts at £100. And actually plenty of people just put in £100 just to make sure they're comfortable. And I think your advice about, obviously, do your homework, do all your due diligence, but actually, do you feel comfortable? You know, does this company or any other company does it sit well with your values? And if it doesn't, don't do it. If it does, great. So look, thank you so much, Lucy. I know you are super busy working full time, having all these businesses, having 3 kids. You are an inspiration. So thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. So look, there's, for those people that are listening live, there is a Q&A and a chat function. So if you want to have a chat with any of our panelists, or you've got any comment to make, I know Denna's reached out to Lucy already, please do. And Denna's listening from the Gold Coast, so we've got a lot of international people listening, which is great. So Anna, could I come to you next, please, my love, if that's okay? If you just, I think you have to unmute yourself. I don't think I can do that. There you go. So good evening. Thanks for joining us. What are you drinking? Most importantly, are you got anything interesting to drink?
Just squash, I'm afraid.
Oh, good girl. Keep hydrated. I'm very heavily pregnant. So I'm on the alcohol free. So I am counting the days till, actually, I've planned my first 3 drinks. I know that's a bit of an overshare, but I literally have this list of things that I am planning to drink. And one of them in my top 3 is a bottle that Vicky sent me a few months ago. I've been looking at it every couple of days and thinking, not long to go. I'm not even counting in weeks of pregnancy. I'm counting in weeks till I can drink wine.
Not too long for
Anna,
you now.
Anna, my love, tell me about yourself and your background, if that's okay.
Okay, so first and foremost, I am mom to a nearly 10-year-old boy. I'm a wife and a daughter, cousin, friend, and I work for a local authority.
Very good.
Predominantly I work in the repairs management, but I have sort of shifted over the last 5 years to health and safety, construction and asset management.
Very good.
And that's really where my passion lies, if I'm completely honest, which is like a male role, if you like. And so yeah, that's me really.
Very good. And look, I know you've been very upfront that you are very family orientated. I know you feel quite strongly it's a man's world, and I think it's been very interesting, the conversations we've had, you know, offline sort of prior to this session, that people think to buy Bitcoin you have to know everything about the economy and everything about crypto, and that's just not true. That's one of the reasons we're trying really hard to break down crypto and the jargon. And one of the things we say is we decrypt crypto. It doesn't have to be difficult. You know, I've explained it to my 8-year-old son. I'm sure all the women on this call that are, you know, active in crypto, it does intrude on your family life. You know, I always get on the school run early and we're looking at, you know, one of the aggregators and saying, oh mummy, it's green today, oh it's gone up. Yes darling, it has. You know, there's nothing wrong with talking to your kids about that. So tell us a bit about your journey. What made you come to the table for crypto? What made you think this is interesting, I want to get involved?
Okay, so obviously like everyone else during lockdown, just wanted something a little bit more. Just wanted to do something that was exciting and a change from my day job, although I love my day job. Sure. You know, me and my husband, we're very lucky. We've got, you know, decent salaries, but I just want more. And this opportunity came along from a friend of the family who
Sure.
was going into Daxi themselves. And as you do, you research it all. And initially, the only cryptocurrency I'd ever heard about was Bitcoin. And that was purely because of celebrities that were you know, on Bitcoin. I just thought there's absolutely no way I will ever be able to do that sort of thing because we haven't got the financial, you know, backup of hundreds of thousands of pounds. And so when Daxi was mentioned, we obviously did our research and hadn't got a clue about crypto at all. But the more we started to read into it every night, well, it became like every day, every second, every minute I could get on the phone, looking all the time. And yeah, we just made that decision to put a few £100 in initially into Daxi.
Sure. Very good. And I think one of the things I say about crypto is not only start small, which I know is exactly what yourself and Lucy are saying, is that I think we put ourselves in a box. You kind of go, I'm really good at this. I'm really good at working for the council and I'm really good at being a mum and I'm a really good cook and my house is immaculate because I'm really anal and I like it. I'm very house proud. And sometimes it's quite hard to take yourself out of that box. And I think other people
just wanted to do something different. I think I turned 38 in May and I just wanted to be able to do something for me that wasn't connected to, you you know, my little boy's school run, he's like, I just wanted to do something that was going to interest me and hopefully make our family's future, you know, rosy,
Yeah,
if you
sure.
like.
And look, that's why Vicky, of course, it does work in crypto, as do I, but we always want to hear from women that have it as a side interest. You know, and again, the motivation, it varies massively. We have women that are quite blunt. I need to make some money. I'm behind where I want to be because of divorce, or there's a few that say, to be honest, it's an insurance policy against my marriage, or this is just my thing. This is my side hustle. I'm really busy with the kids. This is for me. And, you know, we're really passionate about that. And I think, you know, particularly the argument for crypto for people that love it, people like me that are in the industry, is that it's fairer, it's more democratic, it's a new financial system. And I've been saying for about a year that very soon the world will be divided between people that know about crypto and those that don't. So, for example, if you had been lucky enough to buy crypto at the beginning of last year, Bitcoin's gone up about 100%. So to me, it's like someone knocking on your door in the mid-90s and saying, for those of you that are old enough to remember the mid-90s like I am, you've got to get into property, it's going to rocket. And one of the reasons why you start talking to people in Morrison's queues that don't really think you're a bit weird is that it's just such an opportunity. And it's the best performing asset on the face of the planet over the last 18 months. So why wouldn't you get involved? Why wouldn't you go out and see? But as long as, of course, you're working with the right exchange and the right coins. One of the things that we're very famous for is we have these bundles. So rather than just buying Bitcoin, because it's what you've heard of, most of our customers buy a selection. So they either buy Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, which is our blue chip bundle, or they buy our Blue Ocean bundle, which is the altcoins, which of course is Stellar, Polkadot, and Chainlink, just to get that spread. So Anna, you're quite upfront that you're doing it for diversification and wealth creation. We of course are a wealth platform, so we're passionate about helping our customers build wealth. What does that future success look like to you? So when you're kind of checking your crypto prices in the morning, as we all us crypto nuts do, what are you thinking? What's kind of your intention of, you know, where you're what you're trying to achieve? I'm not talking numerically, that's your business. I'm not asking how many Learjets you want to buy, but what does that financial freedom mean to you, Anna?
Just, I think, being completely honest, I think it's just to be able to have that freedom of having the extra money to not only secure my son's future, not that he won't have a good future anyway, just to be able to think as we get older, we'll be able to do what we want within reason. Just not have that burden, that worry of mortgage and bills and cars. And I just want to be able to have that security. So maybe, you know, I work in asset management now, maybe have my own properties and invest and build a future. That's where I sort of see my plan, hopefully.
Yeah, perfect. And so obviously crypto is part of that plan. You know, you talked about you've both got day jobs and you've got loads going on. So crypto is diversification for you, which is great. And obviously it's outperforming everything else, which is wonderful. Why
and if
do
I'm
you...
completely honest as well, Catherine, sorry, I just wanted to add that over the years, I'm an only child, so over the years, my mum and dad have always done so much for me, and this is totally being honest. And my main hope is that I can only pay them back and treat them the way they've treated me for all the years. That is my dream. They're both retired now, so to be able to, you know, give them something amazing would be just absolutely brilliant for me.
Oh, fantastic. And we're about the same age. Luckily, I'm one of three, so
Yeah.
I'm hoping those nursing home fees will be split 3 ways. Talk to my other 2 siblings about that. So look, one of the questions that I'm keen to ask, and obviously we've only got a certain amount of time with each speaker, what made you think crypto is going places? Crypto is going to be a thing? Because obviously 18 months ago, no one had really heard of it. It was a bit weird. It was for people in dusty back bedrooms or living in their mum's basements. What made you think, do you know what, I think this crypto is going to go somewhere?
So obviously I did, as I said before, a lot of research. On the Daxi website, you've got so much information and webinars, you know, meetings you can go on. So once I put the few £100 in, I started to really do my homework and realised that, again, once you get on all those links and you can see the growth, that things were going like up. But also then I went back a few years to see where they were a few years ago, and you can just see the climb. again, you put money in your bank for savings and you get absolutely nothing in return. So you can see the difference by going down the crypto route to the general old-fashioned bank route. It just makes no sense, no financial sense at all. If you want to make money, just silly.
Yeah, and I think look, those interest rates are so dreadful. They're less than 1%. Inflation is outstripping the savings rate, and I'm not here to depress people. The COVID recession is dreadful. So the majority of our customers are diversifying some of what was in the bank in cash into crypto. And actually, the vast majority of our business, I mean, I haven't done any recent analysis, but a couple of months ago, about 80% of our business was repeat purchase. I know both Lucy and Anna have said, started off super small, wanted to be comfortable, wasn't loads of money, it was 100 quid. That's actually what I did 4 years ago. So I've been in crypto. So this is my third blockchain business. I'm MD at Daxi. The first thing I did 4 years ago was ask someone that worked in technology where to go. Hadn't heard of Daxi, unfortunately, because it did exist, but I hadn't heard of it. And I put in 100 quid because I thought if I do it wrong or I press the wrong button, I can still afford the food shop. My son's not going to go without. And obviously now I hold a bit more than 100 quid's worth of crypto. But actually,
a bit of an addictive thing to do as well. You keep looking and you just keep ploughing more because you know how good it's going to be. It gets really exciting.
Very good. So I suppose you've both talked a lot about the homework, the due diligence. I suppose what was the worst case? What were the pitfalls? What was the bogeyman that you were looking out for?
I think just putting even at the beginning, just putting £100 or £200, and it's just that the not knowing about crypto and just reading all the negatives as well. Like obviously when you go onto any page, you search anything, you always get negatives, and it's getting past those. It's reading them, taking them on board, but just making your own decision and just realise, well, for me, it was just realising that if you don't take this chance, you're never gonna try something different or something, new. You're never gonna have that chance and never have this opportunity again. So for me, just the negatives outweigh, they didn't bother me. I just put them to bed and just carried on.
And look, I think you sit at home thinking, oh, what if I'm wrong? What if everyone's going to laugh at me? And I think I really hate catchphrases because they're a bit cheesy. I know Lucy used the word cheesy, but I do think you regret what you don't do a lot more than what you do. And actually, I don't mind saying, people that spend 100 quid, we actually make a loss. By the time we've AML'd and KYC and paid for our technology, we make a loss. And the reason why we do it is because we totally respect that people just need to start somewhere. And I think that first step is always the most difficult. And I remember lying awake at night thinking, why am I getting so stressed about 100 quid? It's what a meal costs out around where I live. It doesn't even buy you a posh meal. It just buys you, dinner and a bottle of wine for you and your other half. So I think, that first step is very difficult. And it's very interesting to hear from Anna, who respectfully is not from a financial background, that you've gone through that learning curve. So the last question I'm going to ask this to all the ladies, so I'm always so interested in the answer. What advice would you give to, again, someone that is just at home thinking, oh, I'd love to, but it's a bit scary? What would your...
Do it. just take the plunge and just realise that during this last few years with the pandemic that, things have got to change and you've just got to challenge yourself. So 100% please just do it. I can't stress that enough.
And look, I think extraordinary times call extraordinary action. For those of us that have homeschooled, which is certainly me and Anna and Lucy, I know Angie's and Vicky's kids are a little bit older, we're going to be looking at COVID in 20 years' time thinking, oh my goodness, what was that about? And I say to my son, your children will ask you about COVID, because it's hard to explain to an 8-year-old just how weird it is. You didn't see your friends for a year. We had to homeschool you, which when you work full time is a right pain in the bum. So I think COVID has been very good for crypto. Cash is dead. Other assets are floundering. But equally, I think there's a lot of people that probably wouldn't have considered crypto if the world was great. If your savings account was 6%, you'd be like, yeah, do you know what? That's fine. But your savings account isn't 6%, it's 0.25%, and everything else is not doing well. So people have gone, oh, crypto, that's gone up 800% over 18 months. I'll have some of that. Thank you very much. So look, thank you so much, Anna. Oh, sorry, yes, go ahead.
If I could quickly want to say as well, just as a quick point, my dad has also put into crypto. He's so old-fashioned, bank, and even he has changed changed his mind totally. So definitely do it.
Oh, very good. And look, we have users on our platform in their 70s. We have users we don't take anyone under 18, but we honestly have users from 18 to 70, because the education we're putting out just really seeks to break down crypto into the non-complicated. So look, and I know you're out talking to loads of people, you're super social. We always see Anna out partying. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. I really appreciate it.
Thank
So
you.
look, Anne, lovely to see you, my love. So Anna will stick around. So again, if you've got any questions or any comments, please, if you're listening live, feel free to pop them in the chat. So Angie, coming to you, if that's okay. So I'm super thrilled that Angie has joined us. So Angie actually is involved in crypto in a number of different ways. It's not for me to tell her story, I'll let her do that. But again, she's got, a different background to our other speakers, which is great. So Angie, it's your story to tell. Tell me about yourself and your background, please.
Yeah, hi everybody. Yeah, my name's Angie. I'm in my late 50s. That's all I'm going to say. Just basically came into crypto business really because other people that I know were all doing the same thing. Started off with a mining rig, which is housed in basically Arizona. From there, we found out all about a Forex business, and then in turn with regard to Daxi, because it also acts as our crypto wallet, as our Bitcoin wallet and all the other, wallets that you can have within Daxi. So it's just been an absolutely phenomenal platform, and I just rave about it all the time. It's just brilliant because I just love the fact that it is an educational business as well. Daxi basically encourage us all to do as much learning and training as we possibly can. Just learn, and that's what I love, because I'm fairly have an educational background as well, so it works really well in that respect, and I can just see the future for it.
And can you just talk a bit about, that's great, thanks Angie. And obviously it's interesting that you've been involved in crypto in a number of different ways. Can you just talk about your professional background very briefly? Because again, you've had quite a variety of roles. So just have a quick run through some of those, please. That would be fabulous.
I have. I started off in insurance many years ago. I then went into finance. So I worked for a finance and leasing company. I've worked for the stockbrokers. Although I'm not a stockbroker myself, I've worked in that environment. I've worked in HR for a private hospital. That was an experience as well, and that teaches you quite a lot of how best to speak to people, what things to say, what not to say when you're having a conversation with people, really. And from there I've worked in accountancy, and then I went into education, where I was basically the first cog in a wheel on a sales education company, so encouraging people to have home tutorial in maths and English, and it's just gone on from there. I've worked in psychology at the University at Birmingham, and most recently at Solihull College as a student support officer. So it's very, very varied background, but I feel that it puts me not into just one particular job slot.
Sure.
And when all this came around, it just go for it, and the fact that everybody around me was doing it, why
sure
not?
So I think almost in a way Daxi kind of pulls some of the threads together from your finance background, from your business background, from your education background. And I think that it's very interesting. All the education we give is free. If you don't know about Daxi, everything we do is 100% free. You can take up 20 hours of education and then either not use crypto or go somewhere else. But we know the vast majority of people we interact with really embrace what we do. So talk to me about what made you buy crypto. And I appreciate you've got a few different crypto industry experiences. What made you buy crypto when you did? What made you think, yeah, I think this is the future?
Yeah, well, simply because of my marital status right now. I am also divorced, and so I don't really have any savings. They've all gone. I wasn't in a position where some women are lucky enough to get a big payoff from their ex-husbands. That didn't happen for me. That just wasn't the situation. And then it was just basically, you see what's happening with crypto, you just do your own research, as Anna has said as well. You do a lot of research, you find out what's happening, and you can just see that it's just going places. And cash, at the end of the day, we are going to be a cashless society. You know, countries keep printing money, paper money. It's just not going anywhere, and crypto really is the place to be, as you've said.
Okay, very good. And again, I know this is different for every woman that we talk to. You mentioned that you're divorced. I too am joyfully divorced. Always you upgrade, I think. So I know Lucy, we don't want to talk about dating. We end up talking about dating all the time on this session, but we won't talk about Lucy's dating because that's a real intrusion into her life. But you normally upgrade after a divorce. Do you know what I'm saying? Normally, number 2 is much nicer than number 1. That's all I'm going to say. So you mentioned briefly that you are divorced. What does success look like for you? What are you trying to achieve from your various crypto activities, Angie?
Well, for me, basically, and I suppose it's very much the same for everybody else, I just want, you know, the future to be bright, to be something that I don't have to worry about financially. I can actually do the things that I've wanted to do for quite a while, and just for the rest of what's going on, just to be a little bit more fun and not to have to go out and earn money on your normal 9 to 5, whatever. I mean, let's face it, at the end of the day, a job actually means just over broke, doesn't it, in some respects? So that's what people will say to me. And multiple sources of income is really the place and the way to go. And that's why I've sort of spread a little bit in lots of different places with my crypto and my forex and my mining rig, and it's all really looking rosy.
Fantastic. And you can see how glamorous all our speakers are. So clearly crypto is doing them some favors. So I think Anna, I don't want to put words in Anna's mouth, but I think Angie and Anna are kind of saying the same thing, which actually crypto is a quality of life thing. You're almost buying time and experience. It's not necessarily about, I want to earn, enough money to buy X, which is material. I kind of think what Anna and Angie are saying is actually, I would just want to have the security that I know I've got the time and not the pressure. Anna's nodding, so hopefully I haven't misrepresented.
Yeah, and I want that for the people that have taken a little bit of a, perhaps they feel it's a risk, the people that I've introduced, and I want it for them to massively, and it will happen, and it is on its way.
Okay, very good. So look, Angie, I know you probably more than our other speakers come from a financial background. Tell us about the kind of, I know you embraced Daxy's education, which is great. What questions were you trying to answer? Because of course you came to crypto not through us originally, you came through other routes. What were your sort of starting questions on that first step of the journey? What were the questions you had that you needed to get answered?
Just because of my background, I know how to do proper due diligence, whereas some people think due diligence is literally just do a couple of Googling, see what they come up with, and it's not necessarily the right answers. But for me, just did my due diligence. It didn't really take a lot of persuading for me, because I could already see at that point, by the time I found out about crypto and how crypto was going, that's just where I wanted to be. And I knew that I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm not a millionaire yet. I'm never going to be unless I actually take the plunge and do something about it and have those multiple sources of income which are steadily on their way.
Very good. And look, you'll notice that we never talk about cash amounts, because actually what is load of money to Richard Branson is a couple of billion, whereas actually if you're a stay-at-home mum, actually probably what we're trying to achieve is a couple hundred extra quid, because that would make a difference to you month in, month out. So we never talk about money, because equally it's the privacy of the people we don't want to break. But I think setting yourself some financial goals, and I think for each of our speakers, they've said slightly different things. Actually, financial freedom to Lucy is a little bit different to what it means to Anna, which is a little bit different to Angie. I think just really drilling in on what you're trying to achieve is very key. So look, I just want to ask you that one last question. I'm sorry because we started a bit late. We've had to hive a bit of time off everybody. So what advice would you give someone that is looking to get started? I think from all the speakers so far, I think you've got the longest relationship with crypto. So what would you say to someone who's at home thinking about taking that difficult first step?
Well, DAX is the best platform to come in at, because, as you've said, Catherine, the minimum you can come in is £100. It's not a great deal of money, even to somebody that doesn't have any money. Go for it, take that plunge. Just don't spend it on something else. Buy into Daxi. You've got your blue chip bundle, your blue ocean bundle, and just literally just go for it. Don't even think about it. Watch it grow. Take that plunge. See it working for you, and then you'll be able to see for yourself.
Oh, very good. And presumably, like our other ladies, you're starting to talk to people that and they're asking you what you think and how you're getting on. So look, I think women are the most amazing networkers. Talk to women about crypto, whether you're trying to find information or whether you've got the information. I always feel irresponsible if I don't tell people, because I think it's great. Do you know what I mean? So Angie,
you need to share it.
Angie, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're super busy, as everyone else is, so thank you for joining us. I'm also thinking that, given how glamorous and financially successful crypto women are, I think, Vicky, we need to start some crypto dating. That needs to be a subsidiary service at Daxi, is going to be the Daxi crypto dating. Do you think we could do that?
We can arrange that. In fact, actually, most of the office conversations are around dating, and
How are they? So obviously, we've worked remotely for last year because of COVID. But the great joy of having younger staff is they tell you all about what young people do nowadays. So that's quite eye-opening. I think is probably the case. So look, I'm super thrilled to introduce Vicky Barker. So Vicky Barker, like myself, works for Daxi. Vicky is global head of brand, and she is based in New Zealand. So poor Vicky not only is up super duper early, she's not feeling so great. So I can see her sipping her morning coffee. I know that you felt pretty manky for a few days, so I really appreciate you joining us. So not only does she have the most glamorous sofa in the Southern Hemisphere, she is well placed to talk about crypto, having been involved for a number of years. And of course, is very well involved with Women Who Crypto as a movement. In fact, Vicky, I think you and I first specced out Women Who Crypto, 14 months ago, something like that?
Yeah. In fact, it's probably been in the pipeline for a lot longer than that. But Catherine's the one that's really taken it to the next level. So, all props to her, definitely.
Now, look, why don't you talk to me about what I think Women Who Crypto is trying to achieve. You're obviously coming at it from a branding perspective. What does Women Who Crypto mean to you? You're always sending me the most amazing articles about women investors. What do you think Women Who Crypto as a movement is seeking to achieve, do you think, from a sort of brand perspective?
I think basically, as a organisation in the community, it's all about giving the support to women who are looking at crypto and trying to get them in. It's been so interesting actually listening to everybody's story today, because there's a common thread insofar as there are many of us that sort of got to this stage in life, and none of us got the memo on investing, except for Catherine, who's been investing in property since she was about 3 years old. But even me, I've been in business a long time. I am still married, and basically I have never invested in my life up until I got into crypto. And I'll be honest with you, I actually got quite angry with myself, because I thought, God, because I was looking at all my friends, and you get to 50, and whereas like the prevailing thought is that you're going to sort of 50, you're in 50s and it's your halcyon days, you're an empty nester, this, that, it all starts to get good. Actually, it couldn't be further from the truth, insofar as that a lot of marriages break up. Your kids are still around. I mean, they go off to university, but come back and they're still costing you loads of money. And it's you actually do need to start looking after yourself and making sure that you secure your future. And I think that an organization like Women in Crypto, basically it is full of like-minded women. Look at us, we all look pretty normal. None of us come back from particularly techie backgrounds, except for Angie and Catherine. Just don't jargonize us. Just tell us what we need to know, and in a language that we understand, and give us the tools, the educational tools, to, you know, to understand that. Don't sort of belittle us and make us feel completely stupid. There are no stupid questions, by the way. And just hold each other up and support each other. I mean, my success in this business is actually just listening to the success of other people in Women Who Crypto. It just makes me feel so frigging good that we are introducing more people into the whole crypto world. We're increasing the adoption, and we're helping people understand crypto so that they can get into it safely with support. And I don't think there are many places or many other organizations like ours. I think we're really, really unique. And I think it was Angela Merkel said, you know, there's a very dark place in hell for women who don't support each other. And I think,
I like that.
Yeah, and I think that's what we do here. We're really here to sort of, you know, share the stories, share the information, help each other, and it's a good thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah, and I think, look, women need to build each other up. I think we naturally empower. And I think, you know, women don't blow their own trumpet. I meet all these amazing women who are like, oh, I'm not that great. You're like, you're amazing. Pick up yourself. And I think, you know, I wish I could find who said it, but I really wish my talented female friends thought half as much as my untalented male friends think of themselves. I'm not man-hating at all. I've got loads of amazing male friends. We've got loads of amazing men in the business. But I just feel like, you know, the community we've got, which is so supportive. We broadcast every day. We have Women Who Crypto sessions. We do loads of webinars. We're just about to launch an ebook for Women Who Crypto. So we will email that around to anyone that has listened to this session or signed up for this session. We'll send them a copy of that. And I was very passionate to put down in writing why I think crypto is good for women, because, you know, the increase in female users we saw over COVID, and it is a fact that COVID affected us the worst. Because I'm not saying the husbands and the fathers weren't helping, but it was us that predominantly picked up the homeschooling. And also, you know, particularly, I know, Vicky, you're a classic example. You've got 4 kids, I think, so I can barely cope with 1, so I doff my cap to you. And loads of people are caught in the sandwich generation. So you've got kids that, of course, need your time and energy and love and financial resources. But often you've still got parents that are alive and elderly and need the same. So we're definitely caught in the middle. And, you know, I think, again, I know we make a bit of a joke about, Vicky and I was going on that session, we talked about dating and who does the school run and who does the housework and all sorts of weird and wacky stuff. But we end up sort of intruding on quite a lot of life. And I don't mind saying, when I was on BBC World on whatever day it was, Monday, I was enjoying it and it was great. And I was interviewed live and it was really interesting. But I was thinking, what am I going to make for dinner? Did I remember to buy milk today? Oh my God, I didn't get that load out. And your brain is always, and I can see Lucy has just got one of her 3 kids is coming to bed and wants cuddles. And, you know, we're all multitasking all the time, whether you're working full-time or part-time or, you know, you're a stay-at-home mum. We've just got so many plates to keep spinning that, yeah, the various things that we talk about are varied and manifest. So, Vicky, I know you've been involved in crypto, whether it's from a brand perspective or an investment perspective, probably from the beginning of, you know, probably what, 4 or 5 years. So
Yeah.
You've probably seen crypto come from the ground up. And I know you talk about events where 4 or 5 years ago, you could fit the entirety of the crypto industry in one conference room. You know, you could meet Vitalik, who built Ethereum. He thought up Ethereum.
Coffee with him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? So can you just talk about some of the changes you've seen in the crypto industry as a whole? Because of course we're maturing every day, even in the 18 months I've worked for Daxi, I've seen fundamental changes in the crypto industry. Would you mind just talking a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So, you know, they say that, you know, a day in crypto is like a year in most industries. And literally, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, I mean, it was still very much the Wild West, and it was an extremely male-dominated industry. So, you know, I used to go off to those first conferences in Singapore, blockchain conferences, and literally, I was the only woman in the place, and it was actually really intimidating. you know, they're all talking in a language that I didn't really understand at all. They're all quite aggressive, rah, 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 and thing. And I absolutely didn't relate to any of it at all. I mean, I almost sort of, you know, walked in and walked straight back out again. I was like, oh God. So I stuck with it, and the rapid advances of adoption, exception, you know, it being accepted as a much more of a mainstream thing, women coming into the industry has changed it, and the influence of women in the industry is absolutely vital. It's like you've got to have a yin yang energy in anything for it to work. And so obviously, you know, institutions piling in, you know, you look at all the big payment systems now that weren't sort of, you know, remotely interested in crypto 4 or 5 years ago. They're all, you know, Visa, MasterCard, you know, all of the big banks that said they wouldn't have a bar of it are now launching their own sort of digital wealth management division. Citibank have just announced theirs this week. JP Morgan, all these sorts of things who've all gone, oh, crypto now, sort of in it, you know, boots and all. So the turnaround from it being a relatively sort of weird place to operate from is absolutely incredible in the last 4 years. You know, you've got all these like mega billionaires like Mark Cuban and Ray Dalio and all these sort of things who, again, all sorts of, you know, poo-pooed it 10 months ago and are now, you know, basically, you know, filling the coffers with Bitcoin and singing it from the rooftop. It's a little bit, honestly, you think, oh, but it's fantastic to see. I was just actually just reading a book, and I just wrote down a quote here. And it's talking about, you know, the adoption. I think, you know, especially with COVID, there's no question that COVID super accelerated the adoption curve for crypto. And in fact, during COVID, and I'm not just talking in crypto, but during COVID, they had the most amount of women who opened up accounts with investment firms ever on record. And in the past, we've not been very good at that, because, you know, we're all basically being programmed and with, you know, conditioning over the years that, you know, women, we shouldn't get involved in risky things, and we should, you know, stay at home and, you know, maybe save, but, you know, let's leave all the risky things for the blokes. And you know, the messages that we get from society about our interactions with money are just bizarre, you know, cosmopolitan, you know, are you a Carrie or are you a Samantha sort of shopper type thing. I mean, it's just so, you know, humiliating the way that we're spoken to. But literally, I think it was COVID that really turned, you know, a lot of women around who went, hang on a minute, let's get real about you know, making sure that we are safe for the future. And crypto really offers not only, obviously, as Catherine was saying, the best performing asset class on the planet, and has been for the last 2 years, but it offers a really simple way for women to get into investing at a low level with the least friction possible. You don't have to be an accredited investor or this, that, and the other. It's not that complicated. So so the changes from where I was 5 years ago to where I am now is extraordinary. And just to see the amount of women that are getting involved is absolutely brilliant. You know, it's only just going to get really bigger and bigger from here onwards.
Fantastic. And look, certainly from my perspective, I've come from a tech background. You know, I've gone into Deutsche Bank, Citi, UBS. And if I had £1 for every time someone thought I was the secretary taking notes, not the senior member of staff in the room, I'd be a very rich lady. And one of the stories I always tell is that I've worked for businesses that were 99% male. I was literally the only girl. And the thing I'm always complaining about, and I'm sorry if you've already heard it, is that I worked in a building with 300 people and I was the only girl, and we had unisex toilets. So after 10 o'clock, I'm telling you, they were not pleasant. So, you know, just to see more women getting into the industry. And I think for me personally, I'm always on, you know, podcasts and in the press. I want at one point for it not to be unusual. I'm a girl. Be like, oh, that's Catherine. not, oh, Catherine, she's a girl in fintech, she's a girl in crypto. People look at you like you're an alien from outer space when you say I'm a girl that works in crypto. And I want at some point that just to be an equal share. So look, I want to just wrap up now. I get told off by our social media team if I manage to take these too late. So I've just got one final thing I want to leave you with. Why might this button not working? And it does look like Lucy's got some stories to go and read. So we can't have you not reading the story that I think Lucy needs to go and get off to. So look, next steps, if you found this evening's presentation interesting, do engage with our learning. I know everyone has said education about a million times. It's free, it's online, it's accessible. You can choose how you like to learn, whether it's webinars or ebooks or social media. Please do get onto our website, which is daxi.com. You will find it under the tab Learn. We do loads of online events. You can find those at events.daxi.com. Do follow us on social media. Women Who Crypto has its own Facebook group. We believe it's the largest meetup of women interested in crypto. And of course, the Daxi page, which holds huge amounts of information, news stories about what's going on. Or of course, do talk to the person that introduced you or sent you to watch this presentation thinking it would be useful for you. So look, all that remains for me to say is thank you for spending your evening with us. I've run out of alcohol now, so I need to go and stock up. And a huge thank you to our speakers. They give their time so willingly. They've all got amazing stories to tell. So a huge thank you particularly to Vicky, who both got up early, and Bill's Mankey. So look, lots of love to you all. Hope you found it useful. And hopefully we will see you online super soon. So enjoy your evening. Good luck in everything that you end up doing, whether it's crypto or otherwise, and hopefully see you at one of our online events very soon. Bye for now.